All right. Good early morning to those of you on the East Coast. Good evening to those of you on the West Coast. I'm your host, Brandon Choi, host and co-creator of Movers and Shakers Unlimited. And hey, we run our shows, all times of the day. But even if you aren't catching us live right now, you will also, be able to catch it as an archive episode after the fact too. So hello to those of you out there catching it as an archive episode. Now, with that being said, as you know, as I had with prior episodes earlier today, this week we have San Diego Comic-Con happening in its live capacity. After 2 years of having virtual shows, it's finally back in its live capacity, in its in-person capacity, if you will. And I have a terrific guest. If you are taking a look at the title there, just to give you just a quick rundown or a tease of a lot of the things that the guest that I'm about to bring on has accomplished. You have seen their talents as an assistant, stunt coordinator for Rush Hour. They have brought their talents as an action director for Into the Badlands, fight choreographer, say fight coordinator for Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. And today we want to be, talking briefly on Night of the Zodiac, among other things. It is my pleasure to welcome back Andy Cheng. Let me bring him on.
Hi.
Hello, Andy. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Brandon?
I'm good. So,
Hey, question. Is it I
yes.
supposed to see you? I don't see you.
Oh, you don't? Okay. Well, we can see you. We can see you. So we could just go with it. Yeah, might just be a quick thing that's happening there. But be that as it may, as I said, we have the live Comic-Con that's happening, this week after, a 2-year hiatus, with the prior two shows. Just checking in. I know you've, been on the show, here in that time. How have things been going? Just wanted to check in, briefly just to start.
Things been okay, a little slow, maybe it's because of the pandemic. But yeah, it's all good, I'm happy. My daughter finally graduated from UCLA.
All
That's
right,
good.
awesome. Nice.
Yeah, and then yeah, play a lot of golf with my son. He's play a lot of golf, and we're going to this week. I'm going to San Diego for the Comic Con for the
Absolutely.
for the Knights of the Zodiac. I mean, a Sing Seer. So that would be so cool. My first time go to Comic Con, so I don't know what I expect.
Oh man. We gotta connect then, because there's so much cool stuff you can do, at San Diego. So I would happily, give you the lay of the land of some of the cool things that happen, when you have some, leisure time.
Are you
But
going there?
yes, I will be there this week, dude.
When you there?
I'll be there. Let me see. I arrive tomorrow, so yeah, I will be there for the whole show, Wednesday to Sunday. I will be there.
Wow, so
Yeah.
yeah, we need to catch up. We find the time. We catch up.
Absolutely.
Connect there. Yeah, we connect there. I'm going down there on Thursday. I mean, suppose I can go Wednesday, but I think right now my plan is Thursday afternoon. We drive down there. I will be there like maybe 3 o'clock, something like that.
Okay. Well, we
Then
can definitely connect, man.
I will stay till Sunday. So yeah, we'll find. I mean, I know I have some schedule on Friday rehearsal, and then Saturday going to the panel on I think 5, 6 o'clock at Saturday. So that will be full day on Saturday, but maybe Friday, maybe
For sure, man.
Sunday morning or Thursday, we'll find the time. We'll find it. We
For
just connect.
sure. For sure, man. So just getting into, as I was mentioning before, Night of the Zodiac, it's a well-known, anime, and has storied history in terms of fans who have enjoyed that series. So in speaking to that, one thing that I wanted to hop into is just the idea of when it comes to action. I feel like the best action, and I know we've talked about this before when you were on here previously, with other projects, that I've just dropped before or talked about before. The best action are those projects or are those sequences that still tell a story. It doesn't matter how elaborate the action is or how cool the action looks. I feel like the best and the most effective ones are those that are still, driving the story forward in some way. And I've brought this up before, but I'll bring it up again, is talking about giving an example of a project that you worked on is Jackie Chan's Who Am I? And telling the story of that sequence that you have with those two henchmen fighting against Jackie on the rooftop, and how he has to kind of adapt. Jackie's character has to adapt to the strengths and weaknesses of those two characters, and how that is telling a story of him figuring out a way to adjust to one character whose strengths deal with his ability to punch, and then another character's ability to use their legs. And then I know additionally, like even Into the Badlands, I recalled that when I went to the panel, this was a couple of years ago at C2E2, it was brought to us, to fans, or told to fans that, in order to kind of make the characters, work seamlessly, the actors who were, trained to do a lot of the action, it was geared towards their strengths as well. Some things that they were very good at doing. So can you speak to that and trying to find a way to still tell a story through action, especially with this, where I feel like so much of the action is going to be so elaborate and not having the story get lost.
Yeah.
So what would you say, is like the approach that you try to use in order to kind of still bring, that story aspect?
Yeah. Are you still? We're talking about Sincere, right?
Say again?
We're talking about Sincere. Is
Yeah.
that right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is it's a big challenge. The movie have a lot of fans, and then they've been long time, almost like 40 years. And they
Yeah.
have, almost 40 years. So they have a lot of element, and then a lot of great action and great character. So the approaching, we still need to stick with the script, because even they have to picking, how to introduce to the audience for the first time as a live action. So it's hundreds episode, and then also there are hundreds of character. There's a lot of great character, a lot of nice. So there are different, armor, different color, different. So there are a lot of character. So for the first one, they have to pick the very smart to which character they want to introduce to the audience, because it cannot be one time and throw everything into it, and there'll be so much. So I think this is for me. I feel they're very smart way to how they picking which character they want to show in this movie, and also how to balance it about the story. How to introduce to the audience. They never really see it. Of course, a lot of audience, a lot of fans, they knowing exactly what is the character. But for the new viewer, so we have to do a lot of very good basic groundwork to step by step to introduce the character. So I think, yeah, the storytelling is very important, because they need to know who is the character and then how they become who they are. So lot of work, you know, to make sure we don't too far ahead, you know, to tell the story. So we had to, you know, very smart. And then the director Thomas is very occasion, you know, and we will talk about, you know, how we, you know, pacing it is not go too far. And then also remember 40 years ago it's like really different. I think the audience have a different taste, you know, and then different speed in
Sure.
terms to
Yeah.
act, in terms to
Yeah.
action, you know, choreography, or even the speed. So there have been this 40 years been a lot of education for the audience. So the audience is watching action in a different way than 40 years ago. So it's some we have to be, you know, modify, update, and then make sure, you know, we get into the right speed to the new audience, you know, even the old audience, because they been education for 40 years or action and animation, you know. So especially with superhero movie this past 10 years, and a lot of superhero movie, so they see a lot of uh, superhero speed action, you know. So we had to, you know, like pick and choose, you know, which way we're going. So I think we did pretty smart, but you know, like it's a lot of top secret. You know, we don't want to sneak out too much. But I was saying, we playing a really smart battle to don't how to say, we because we don't have like another big super movie. They have the kind of budget and time, so we had to pick and choose and play very smart. And but then we also want to stick on, you know, the original. So we have very interesting approaching for the action, and also is we're trying to stick into the animation, you know, the manga, you know. So we not go too far ahead, like earlier said. So we play smart, and then we try to play a lot of is a physical action too. You know, it's not like all CGI. So I think that kind of be different than the other superhero movie we are approaching. So
Gotcha.
we also is testing the water, you know. So see, I think this is the audience accept, and then we will go into the same direction. We will go even bigger. So with really like this is the first one. So it's always the first one is kind of like you have to test the water and see how the audience react. So we are based on what we have to do the best we can. I think, yeah, it's something different than, you know, you will see in the big, you know, Marvel movie, you know. So it's different.
Gotcha. And I guess the only other thing that I was curious about is, you know, just the challenges of doing that, because as I said, you know, the source materials in terms of what it entails is quite elaborate and you know, grandiose, and especially with, you know, the gear that, you know, your heroes are wearing. So did was that, you know, a challenge in terms of mobility of being able to do a lot of the movements of with, you know, with that gear on, or with that those, you know.
Yeah, that's for sure. You know, and also the armor, you know, when the full on armor, the real one is really heavy. It's a heavy armor, and then your movement, you know, of course, the ability isn't different than you without that. But I think we did a great job, you know, to how we minimize the trouble, and then uh, some is we have some part we need the CG to help, but yeah, I think we did the good pass, and then those after they are really did a good job. So we training a lot, you know, and then they take the heat, you know, so they do everything, you know. So it's very cool. So it's like I said, it will be different than you see the other superhero, because this is more practical, than you can imagine.
All right, excellent. Well, I'm not gonna ask further because I want to be able to say for a few days from now, but I'll close by just asking, because I know it's always a constantly ongoing thing. Whether even on working on a given project is always about, and at that same time about working on the next project as well. So hopefully I'm hoping, or if you'll be back for Shang-Chi, if they're doing a sequel, or if they're doing, I know that there were talks of potentially doing a 10 Rings series, maybe, hopefully. Hoping that you are working on that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there are a lot of news out there, but I still haven't heard from anything yet. But I know they're going to, but I think right now it's still early stages. They have to do with the script, and all the plan. So yeah, if I have any good news, I'll definitely let you know. But and I think, yeah, I would love to, but who knows what will be the story, because in the Marvel universe, is a lot of character, a lot of story, and a lot of different dimension. So it depends on which
Absolutely.
dimension they're going to in the part two. So is it still have a lot of Chinese element, or will be less? So that is based on what the, like I said, which dimension they going and which character they bring into it. So in Shang-Chi could be stay on uh, the village, and I think they will go out to the universe. So like what the end. So I mean they already approaching with wrong, right? The Doctor Strange. So that could be go to different dimensions.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. So that depend on the element and action, and so I think it's too early to say. I don't know. I hope, like I said, I hope I will be going back, but who knows?
I'll put it out to the universe. I hope that they will have you back, because like that movie was awesome. So before I let you go, Andy, first off, thanks so much for squeezing some time to chat. Can you tell folks where they can find you, and perhaps where what you're going to be working on next, if you are able to share what that is?
Right now my next is a couple of things I'm doing right now. Is one is like a documentary, um, but not official yet, so I cannot really say it out. But then I'm
Gotcha.
doing some commercial work, but at the same time I have a couple projects trying to working on it. Hopefully that happening, then I can tell everyone. So because I don't want to jinx it, so we hold
No,
on
I hear you.
until that for real. Then that will be definitely is a project. Right now, my working project is my golf game.
All right, cool. So I want to put it up here, just for everyone to see. I know they had it in the background here, but yes. So we have a first look at Knights of the Zodiac, happening at San Diego Comic-Con on Saturday, July 23rd at 5:30 in room 6A. Once again, Andy, thank you so much, as I said, for hopping on and talking about this project. Very much
Absolutely.
looking forward to what it has in store for us. And then other than that, man, hopefully I'll run into you. Like I said, we'll talk. I'll run into you this week. But with that being said, guys, I'm your host, Brandon Choi, host and co-creator of Movies and Shakers Unlimited. Again, I want to thank my host, Andy Cheng. Be safe out there, and I will see you soon.
I see you
Bye.
there, Brandon. Thank you. Good night.
Absolutely.
Get some
Good
sleep.
night.
Bye bye. See you this week.
Bye.
Bye.